Another edition of PRC. Yes, folks, that is post-race conversation. Bryan Nolen, Justin, Wyatt, Watson, and you all know him. His name is Mr. Steven Stumpf, who's been to 15 million races this year, so we all know him. But gentlemen, here in Kansas Speedway, fantastic race today. Practice and qualifying for the Cup Series, and then we had the final race of the regular season. Wyatt, I'm going to start with you. John Hunter Nemechek seemed to be the best driver. And, well, the best driver went to victory lane.
Well, yeah, I had him as my pick today. He Toyota at Kansas, Joe Gibbs Racing is just such a tough ass to beat for the field. John Hunter Nemechek is on a roll. He is going into the playoffs as arguably the favorite over Dawson Hill. There's no super speedway races in this year's playoffs. John Hunter Nemechek has it dialed in, and that's the reason why he's going to be in that 42 car next year.
That is true. It was announced that Legacy Motor Club did hire him to replace Noah Gragson. Steven, last race of the regular season, like I mentioned, it came down to the very end, but when it was all said and done, Parker Kligerman finishes fourth, Riley Herbst has trouble, and the 48 car is in to the playoffs.
Yes, indeed. With the ending of Darlington, it looked definitely to be very. It was definitely they were definitely like borderline to make it, especially being 1 point below, but the team showed up. They were in top 10 all day. They were running as high as third in the final run. They ended up finishing fourth. Parker was elated. He also said that in the final run, he was the biggest John Hunter Nemechek fan out there, and that is because in second place was Brandon Jones, who almost pulled off the stunner to win his way into the playoffs from below the cut line, even coming back from two spins early in the race, but it was not enough. Jones finished 7 seconds behind Nemechek. The 20 car led 154 laps at the 200. He was untouchable. And then obviously Herbst, it was a restart where he got into the back of Kligerman that cut a tire. He lost 2 laps. With some lucky cautions, he got back on the lead lap, but then as he made his way back up to 9th, he cut another tire. And that was all she wrote for the number 9 team in the playoffs, 98 team in the playoffs this year.
Let's switch over now to the Cup side. Wyatt, I'll start with you. We all expected Toyota to be fast, and, well, newsflash, they're fast. Christopher Bell wins the pole. What did you get out from practice and qualifying before we dive into our race picks?
Well, practice and qualifying definitely looked interesting with Bubba Wallace, 2311 Racing, and Tyler Reddick, all looking pretty sporty and pretty fast. They're going to be a tough beat this weekend, but for my pick, I'm going to go into Kyle Larson. He started in the front row with fellow dirt driver Christopher Bell. They were ripping the high side during that qualifying and made it a very, very fun qualifying to watch, one I haven't seen in a minute. So it's going to be fun to see between Bell, Larson, and the rest of the Toyotas, but Larson's, along with maybe Chastain, are the only 2 Chevrolets that have a chance to beat the Toyotas today or tomorrow.
Mr. Steven Stumpf, it looks like it's going to be between Chevy and Toyota. Is that where you're leaning for your race picks?
That's what I'm thinking, too. Although Ford did show up in Michigan, in Kansas in May, they were really nowhere to be found. It was Toyota versus Kyle Larson in that race. And for my pick this time around, I'm going to go with Truex. He was one of the best cars at Kansas in May. He led a stick Chuck, but he fell back in the final stage. But as we know, he is the hot hand. He won the regular season championship, and even though he got his playoffs off to a tough start at Darlington, even from 6 years back, he's incredible at the 1.5 mile tracks, and I predict that they will be out front after 267 laps tomorrow.
Definitely been a resurgence for MTJ this year. I'm going to go with the Toyota, but not MTJ. I'm going to go with the 45 car. Tyler Reddick, he showed speed, and we saw his teammate in Bubba Wallace win last year here. Got the 45 car winning on Sunday. For Mr. Wyatt Watson, Steven Stumpf, check out all of our great content on Frontstretch.com. I am Bryan Timothy Dale Nolen. Talk with you tomorrow here from Kansas Speedway.
Hi, this is Steven Stumpf. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out the 2 videos beside me, and for more racing content, visit Frontstretch.com.